Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Sam and we are talking about Tapforms 5 for iOS and Mac. We're up to episode 6 today on our meal planning journey. In the last episode, episode 5, we talked about this copy meal script that we worked on to automatically copy a meal from a given day to subsequent following days. And my use case for that was that I have soup that I create on a Sunday generally when I get a bit of time, and then I reheat that throughout the week for lunch as the week progresses. So it's a really simple, really easy lunch, kind of easy to do without too many issues. What I want to do is use that as a stepping stone to creating the next thing, which is generally on a Saturday is when I plan out my meals for the following week. So I want to know, I want to set up essentially a week's worth of meals in advance, and I want to do that kind of quickly. And to do that, we're going to use a prompter. I've got one approach I want to give a shot for in this video. If this video gets a little long, maybe we'll try a different one just to give it a spin and see what it looks like. So without further ado, if you haven't watched episode 5, go back, check it out, see what we do there, because we're going to start from the end of episode 5 with this copy meal, but we're going to change it. We're going to duplicate that script, and instead we're going to call it bulk enter meals. Nobody can claim that I am particularly creative with names. This is why I am a programmer, not a marketing person. Okay, bulk enter meals was cancelled, and we'll change days to copy to days to enter. Meal type we will keep, and we'll change our prompter to be bulk enter meals. While we're getting started with things, let's comment out the record setting and record creation, just so that we're able to run this. And what we want to do is double check that the validation that we put in previously looks good, and it does. So we're going to hit save on that. I'm going to hit run, days to enter 3, and we're going to do lunch. That seems like a good one. We can see that we're doing the previous behavior, which was to copy everything over, but we need to change this a little bit, because what we're actually doing here is we need to create a loop, and what we're going to do is set up a number of different field objects to handle each of that. Now, the first thing we actually need to do is deal with the fact that in the original, we had this original time, right? And the original time was the original time of the record. Now, we actually need to do this based on the current date and time. So we'll change that over. Let's put a comment in front of this. Make sure we don't forget anything here. And we'll say original time is going to be our current date. Now, the problem with this, and actually let's just have a look at what this is going to look like. We don't need that loop for the moment, so let's comment that out. And we'll hit save and run on this, and we'll just see what this looks like. 3, and actually don't care about that. So we'll see that the time here is Monday, May 17th, 2350, 11:50 p.m. GMT -7 Pacific Daylight Time. Now, internally in Tapforms, if you'll remember, when we were dealing with these dates, it was actually 0000 GMT, because it was at midnight. So what we need to do is the same thing to our date to make it look like the Tapforms date field. And the reason for this is internally, when we're dealing with the Tapforms date field, it's actually technically modeled as a date time field. Pretty powerful. But that means that under the hood, even though it's a date field, it actually has a fixed time that it knows about and understands. It's just never rendered that time, and it defaults that time to be 0 in the time that this was created. So what we've done, we've set the hours, minutes, seconds, and milliseconds, keeping in mind in JavaScript, time is measured in milliseconds. And when we do this, we can see that now It's Monday, May 17th at 000000. We do need to do one other change, and you'll note here that we got the date from the meal date ID, and then we ran get time on it. So we need to do that again so that we can set original time equals original time dot get time. If we were in a strongly typed language, we would have to use an intermediate variable. JavaScript lets us get away with this. It'll allow us to redefine the type of this from a date time field to essentially time in milliseconds. So let's run that again and make sure we get back out sort of what we're expecting, which is this big long number. Okay, so we've done step one of what we need to do. We've got our brand new time offset, and maybe in the future we'll add a prompter that'll let us pick a date to do that. Tapforms doesn't really have a good way of doing that. We would have to manually enter the date, parse it via JavaScript, and sort of hope that JavaScript guessed the right date or parsed out the right date from what we gave it. I'm not willing to figure that out right now. Instead, what I want to do is I'm going to use the time that the date that the script was run as the base, and we'll use that for figuring out the subsequent days. So we're going to start with actually redefining prompter here, and we're going to create a brand new prompter. Now the JavaScript API for the prompters allows you to have multiple prompters per script. So each time you do prompter.new, you get a new one that you can independently add values to, change items to, without having to do too much. Let's get rid of this comment here, and we'll keep the guts of it for the moment. I'm not quite sure. Let's change this bit. We'll still comment out this here at the end, and actually let's just take that out there so that's still nice and neat, because what we want to do is or what I'm going to try here is to basically add to the prompter add parameter a sort of I, and then how are we going to do this? What we want to do is basically create a prompter parameter for each day that we said that we entered, so that we can sort of streamline the entry. Meal array, so we're going to use that, and I need to define that somewhere. And we're going to create this as a text. Meal array doesn't exist. We need to define meal array. So what we're doing here is the backticks in JavaScript here are template strings, and it means that we can hand a variable, this $brace I syntax, into the item, and JavaScript is going to template that for us. Now the problem is we need to hand the prompter a variable, right? Because it needs to have somewhere to put that in, but it also needs to be defined and accessible, but we can't readily do that. So what we're going to do is use eval, and I think that should work. And we're going to use eval to basically define this variable as an empty string for us. Maybe it needs a semicolon at the end. Then we're going to hand that to the prompter in Tapform so that it can populate that variable. And I guess now we need to close the loop, and actually let's move this out of the way. We're going to keep it for later, but we're just going to move it out of the way for the moment while we deal with this. Let's get some more screen real estate, because that's always helpful. So we've got our prompter. Now we need to, and there's an extra new brace there, so let's get rid of that. That made things look a little neater. We need to do a prompter.show. But to do that, we need to Into meal name, we need to give it a text and we need to give it a callback. So what we can do is we'll create an inline callback. I think that'll work. Yeah. So we'll create a callback that is inline. So in this earlier one here, we have a callback function which was defined as a callback function. We can actually change that to just be function callback as well if we wanted to. JavaScript is pretty flexible for us. So let's just put that back to where it was. But we can also define a function inline in this sort of prompter.show. And this callback is what's going to get called when we finish, either hit cancel, hit send. But once we're finished with the prompter, Tapforms is asynchronously going to call that, which means that this document.save all changes can move out of the way for the moment. So what we're going to do is if continue is not true, we'll just log meal entry was cancelled. So we have a reference for it. Then we're going to return, because we're actually inside a function scope. We're a function inside of another function in a sense. So we can return to exit this block, and I guess we repeat this same sort of loop, except we need to loop over all of the days that we said we were going to have, and then we're going to have to use eval again to do meal array I. Actually, let's do console.log meal array I. Let's just see if this works. Yeah, let's just see what this does. Okay, days winter, we'll do 3, and we'll do unspecified. Okay, we spelt prompter wrong. Prompter dot show. Okay, let's give that a shot. See what we do. 3 days, unspecified. Enter meal name 123, and we're gonna go with noodles, beef bowl, and ribs. And okay, cool. We've got it back out. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We're about to clock over the hour at 11:59 p.m. So this will become Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But noodles, beef bowl, ribs. So we've gotten out the values that we expected. Let's do meals equals an array. Let meals equal an array. Can we do meals dot I equals meal array, and then we do console.log meals. Let's see what this comes back with. 3, leave that alone. 1, 2, 3. And we have an empty element because it's 1, 2, 3. So 0 is implied, but it is not set. Okay, so that makes some amount of sense. So we've extracted the array back out. We know what that's there, so that's good. That means that now we can do we can create a meal out of that. So let's grab this that we had from before, and we will put this in. Actually, we can put it in this loop just like we did before. And what we're going to do is the meal name is going to be this meals I which is the thing. Meal date is going to be... Ooh, where are we going to get meal date from? Let's create another variable here called let meal dates equals an array, and then because we don't actually use the meal date here, so meal dates I equals meal date. We'll just do that mapping, and so then we can get back meal date I from here. Meal type is going to be the meal type that we set from the request, and if that's not set, it defaults to the current record. Okay, we're gonna have to change that. If the meal type isn't set or the meal type is 0, then we want to do alert with message error meal type was not set, return, so that we can trap if we do an invalid meal type. Then we'll do this, and let's just comment out these 3 lines just for the moment, and we'll console.log the entry like we did last time, and because we don't need to get the value, the source is going to be unset because we don't have a source for this. We're just entering values. Okay, let's save that. Let's give this a spin. 3. Actually, let's test if we set unspecified. Meal type was not set. Very good. Okay, so let's do 3, and we'll do breakfast, and we'll do breakfast meals. 1, 2, 3. Pancakes. Pancakes. Cornflakes, favorite of mine. And bacon and eggs with hash brown, also a favorite of mine. Okay, can't find variable meal date because it's meal dates. Okay, that's an easy one to fix, because we had that on line 65, so this is line 65. It's had meal date, and really what it should have been is meal dates, because that's what we defined. So let's go give this another spin. And what did we do? We did pancakes, cornflakes, and then we did bacon and eggs with hash brown. Okay, cool. So now we can see from our debug output in our console log, pancakes on the 19th for breakfast, cornflakes on the 20th for breakfast, and on the 21st for breakfast we have our hash brown. We have the console.log here for those meals, so let's get rid of that because we don't need that anymore. And that's not too bad. However, I am going to say 1, 2, 3 is kind of unfriendly. And I'll admit here, I did a little bit of prep work for this because I can never remember how this works. But what we can do is have JavaScript reformat that date for us with this toLocale string, so that what we can do is have it tell us the date that we're looking at instead of this I that we're adding. So to do that, we're going to create a new variable, and we're going to call it let meal name message. And what we're going to do is this meal date variable that we had already been calculating, and then we're going to do, let's jump here, this toLocale, however you pronounce that, date string. And what that does is it has a number of different options for what we want in our date. So, and you know which format we want it in. So we're gonna do to date string, and we're gonna set this to undefined, which should default to our current locale according to this, varies according to default, and then we need to set the options. So this has weekday, month, day, And you know what? I think that might be a good start. So let's do let options equals that, and then we can do options here. And we probably don't need year. Let's get rid of year. Weekday long, month, day. You know what? Let's give this a shot. See what this looks like. Again, this is something that I pulled up the manual for ahead of time because it's a bit of a pain. Okay, we did it wrong because it still says 1, 2, 3. What gives? Well, we need to change add parameter here to meal name message. We'll hit save on that, and we'll give it another shot for breakfast. Now it has Wednesday 19th of May, Thursday 20th of May, Friday. Now this is okay, but I think like Wednesday's pushed out. The alignment here is kind of off. So let's go have a look, and we'll see it's a long list of supported browser options. But essentially see the constructor on the parameters and how to use them. So let's go have a look at that. You can see I actually already had a look at this, and we can see that we actually support a couple of different date styles. So for the day, for the weekday, we have long, which is Thursday, short, which is THU, and then narrow. So I think what we want to do here is we're going to go with cancel weekday as short. Month, what are our options for month? Non nobis domine domine. For month, we have numeric, we have 2-digit, which gives us a 02, which may be the way to go along. And day has numeric and 2-digit. What do we have set up for day? We have numeric. Maybe we do 2-digit for you, because that'll give us 01, which means that even if it's not a 2-day week, if it's like a 1-day week, it'll line up better. This is still off. It's not as bad as what it was. I think we're going to have to live with it. This is going to be the best we're going to do. But we can see for the meal names here, let's do one more change because I think we can do better. Instead of enter meal name, we can do enter meal for, and we'll turn this into a template string again. So those are our backticks because we have the meal type. We know what meal type this is. So let's give this back to the user and remind them, you know, we're putting in breakfast. Enter meal for breakfast. Sweet. That's what we're after. And of course, that's going to be pancakes, cornflakes, and our bacon and eggs with hash brown, which I think I changed each time we've typed this. Okay, all of that still works. So now we just need to uncomment these 3 lines, which is create our new record, set the field values, and then save all of the changes. We, in this case, put the save all changes inside the loop, inside of the callback, I should say, because we need to have this execute after we've added all of the records, but still inside of this callback. Because what will happen is after this prompter.show line, the script will keep executing until it reaches its end, and then once the UI element has finished, this function will be called. So we need to make sure that we've got the document.saveAllChanges inside of the callback, not outside of the callback. So we'll hit save on that, and hopefully this will be the last time I enter brunch or breakfast for this video. So pancakes, cornflakes, and Friday we're really spurging with the bacon and eggs with hash brown. And that looks like it's all done. We'll hit save on that, And let's see what we've got here. Cornflakes on the 20th, pancakes on the 19th, and on Friday we have our bacon and eggs with hash brown. Let's change this to be ordered by our meal date so that that's actually nice and consistent again. So that's now spliced in with the rest of our food options that we've created. I think I'm going to leave that there, folk, for this bulk enter meal. And we might have to do another video talking about a slightly different way of doing it. In this one, what we've done is used two prompters and had this sort of setup prompter that says, you know, how many fields we want to put in and what we're going to do, what the meal type is. We could also set an initial date there, and we've done one of each of these. I think I'm going to do another video because the other way I wanted to tackle this is by having it keep asking you. So you enter in, let's go back to here. You enter in the meal type. You don't enter in the days, but you just keep entering until you've finished. So I think that will be the next episode for the meal planner series. If this video was interesting for you, hit like, leave a comment, and hit the subscribe button, because these videos are totally not on a schedule, and they're sort of when time permits me to get it up and running. If this video wasn't interesting, you know, hit that thumbs down button if you like, but please leave a comment and let me know what you didn't like and how I can make it better. As always, I'm on the forums, and anything that gets posted there I generally see and respond to if it's something that I think I can help out with. So check out the forums, and happy tap formsing.